episode 248 of Board Game Blitz, a podcast about all things board games that you can listen to in less time than it takes to successfully use the bathroom while wearing a wedding dress. Board Game Blitz is sponsored by Grey Fox Games. This week, we're talking about games filled with love. First, we discuss a couple games we've played recently, Spirits of the Wild Awakening and Numberwang. Then, in honor of my upcoming wedding, we talk about board games that include love, romance, or relationships. And now, here are your hosts,
Ambie
and Crystal.
Recently, I got a review copy of Spirits of the Wild Awakening. This is designed by Nick Hayes, art by Rachel Quinlan, published by Mattel, published in 2025. So I got a review copy from Mattel, and it's signed too. So that's cool. But this is a 2-player game. It's kind of an abstract strategy game, or it is an abstract strategy game, themed around like animals, spirits of the wild. And I think it's a re-implementation of Spirits of the Wild, which I have not played. This is Spirits of the Wild Awakening. I'm not sure like how much is different or how much is the same. But in this game, it's got really nice components. So I played it twice, once with just me and Toby, and then once with my kids, like helping. Like it was me and one of my kids and Toby and another one of my kids, and we kind of like had them play because this is like a family weight game. It's ages 10 plus. I think it could probably be like 8-year-olds could probably play it. My kids are 6. They were too young to like grasp the strategies and like completely know how to play it. And it also has cards that you have to read. So they don't know how to read yet. But one of my kids was actually like kind of understanding the rules of like what you have to do. Basically, what you do is there's these animal boards. There's a bunch of animal boards and there's 2 of each. So there's the purple team, the purple person, and the orange person. And so you're going to have the same each time. And you pick 5 of these animal boards to be in the game. And there's 15 or 18 of them. I'm not sure how many, but there's a lot. And they all have different things of scoring. And then there's a bag full of different colored gems. I think there's 6 colors and 8 of each color. And then there's also like this clear, I think they call it a iridescent stone or something. And that's a special one. And there's this bowl that you put the stones into. So you're going to draw stones from the bag and put them in the bowl. And on your turn, you do different actions. So each person has 6 action tiles, and they're going to be able to do one and flip it over. And one of the tiles is refresh. So you have to like flip them over, and then you can't do that one again until you refresh your tiles. And that's one of the actions. But when you refresh your tiles, there's also these cards. There's going to be 6 of these cards in the game, 2 piles of 3, and there's 18 of those that have different powers that happen. So when you refresh, you get to pick one of the cards, do that power, and then put it to the bottom of its pile. So you kind of can see what's possible, but whoever refreshes gets to pick which one they're doing. So like if you kind of want to do that one, but then the other player refreshes first and they do it, then you don't get to do that one. But the actions most of the actions involve like taking stones from the bowl, putting them onto one of your animal boards, or like drawing stones from the bag and putting it onto the bowl, or moving this coyote. So a couple of the actions, if you take a stone and then you do both of the take stone actions, when you flip them over, it shows a little coyote image and then you get to move the coyote. But the coyote
that's a cute
goes
little thing.
Yeah, the coyote goes onto your opponent's animal board. So basically, when you're taking a stone, you're putting it onto your animal boards, and they score in different ways. So like for like on this owl board, it's you want pairs. So you want like 2 of the same color, and then another 2 of the same color, another 2 of the same color, and each pair scores 3 points. But if you only have one, then it's not going to score anything. And this is at the end of the game. So when your opponent puts in a coyote on one of your animal boards, you can't place any stones there until you move the coyote. So like things you do are going to be moving the coyote. Some of the actions move the coyote, or like sometimes when you do things, some of the animal boards have actions that move the coyote. So it's kind of a cutthroat 2-player abstract game. Lots of blocking, like with the coyote, you're blocking like, oh, someone's going for trying to get 3 of a kind, and like, oh, that color is in the bowl, so I'm going to put the coyote there. And it's very tactical with like seeing what colors are out in the bowl and blocking as you see it. As I showed you, like there's a lot of animal boards and you only pick 5 each time. And then also like of the 18 cards, you have 6 of those animals. They have some like preset suggestions for the animal boards, or you can also like just randomize it. And so we've played like a couple of them, and they felt kind of different in the strategies. Like the first game I played, there was still like, there was blocking and stuff, and we were trying to get like sets. And then the second game was all about the coyote. It had a lot of moving the coyote because it had some animals that move the coyote, and then it had an animal that like gets stones every time you move the coyote called the pack rat. It's just like collecting a bunch of stones. And so there was a lot of moving the coyote. My kid just studies like, I want to move the coyote to the one that they're not using because I don't want them to move it back to us. But that didn't work out.
I mean, that is a logical thought process, but yeah.
Yeah, because like everything was moving the coyote, and then it's like when you move the coyote, you get extra things, so you want to move the coyote. But yeah, it was very cute. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I've mentioned before, I think that I don't play many abstract games. I don't like seek out abstract games, but I usually enjoy when I play them. And so this was similar. I did enjoy it, and yeah, I do like the component quality is really nice in this. In Spirits of the Wild, like little gems. It's fun bringing them out of the bag. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this iridescent stone or whatever, the clear one. That one you can't play normally. It can only play in this like corner spot of the card, and that doubles your score of that card, but it also locks it, so you can't put any more stones on there. So,
okay.
And those are also how the end game is triggered. When there's 5 of those out in the game anywhere, like in the bowl or on player boards, then the game ends when that player finishes their turn. So that's also interesting because some powers, some actions let you put things back in the bag. So it's like, oh, do I want to put those stones back so I can keep doing more stuff, or try to like end the game quicker, bring out more of the stones? So lots of like back and forth and blocking, kind of cutthroat 2-player abstract game, but it's like family weight. My kids were able to do the actions and kind of see what's going on. The only reading is with these animal cards, which happen every time you refresh. So I feel like maybe an 8-year-old could probably play it. It says ages 10 and plus. One warning I do have is the game actually comes with 2 decks of cards. Like it comes with 36 cards, but it's 18 cards times 2 because there's like an English one and a German one. So don't be like me and shuffle them all together.
Oh no! I mean, at least it's easy to separate them back out, I assume.
Yeah. But like I shuffled them all together, and then when we set up the game, I'm like, huh, like I can't read this card on the top. I was like, oh
Whoopsies.
no. But then I was like, okay, I have to switch them out with the English.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes. But yeah, that's Spirits of the Wild Awakening, a nice family weight abstract strategy 2-player game.
Nice to see Mattel getting into more hobby gaming space. Like we know, like Hasbro has kind of already been in there for a while. Like when I hear Hasbro, I think less about like older mass market games than I do think like about modern stuff too. But with Mattel, I think more about toys and older style games. So it's nice to see them with some like more modern stuff.
Yeah. Toby was impressed too, because I think he enjoyed it, and a lot of times he doesn't enjoy review copies. they're hit or miss.
Oh, a review copy. Yeah.
Yeah, but
just
then he's like,
because
from
something
Mattel,
was provided to us by a publisher does not mean it's bad by any means. Some of the best games we've ever played have been review copies, so it's always just kind of hard to guess, I guess.
Yeah. That's Spirits of the Wild Awakening.
Awesome. Well, today I am going to be talking about a trick-taking game that I was recently taught by friend of the show, Alex Hart. For anybody who is not familiar with Alex, his board game content is Might I Suggest a Game? So I think you can find him on Instagram and some other platforms as well under that name. And his stuff is awesome, as is he. And the board game retreat that I attended in September, he was also at. And he brought out a game that I had not heard of before, that came out this year. And it is called Numberwang. For those of you who happen to be very knowledgeable about British comedy panel shows, the word Numberwang might be familiar to you. And so for those of you who are not, there's no real connection that I can glean aside from it's a funny word that they decided to use as the title of this game. But there was a British comedy show that did a sketch repeatedly called Numberwang, and it was a game show where the contestants just shout out random numbers, and then the host goes, "That's Numberwang," and like that's kind of it. It's one of those things that like sounds really stupid but is actually quite funny when you're watching it happen, like, you know, like 13 -4, and then like somebody will say like 1.3, and like I think the host is like, ooh, a decimal, that's Numberwang, or you know, it's ridiculous. Okay. But when I saw that this card game was called Numberwang, that immediately got my attention because I'm familiar with the sketch. The game has nothing to do with the sketch at all, but it still got my attention. And so I did want to make sure I pointed that out for anyone else who happens to be familiar. So in Numberwang, it is a fairly straightforward trick-taking game. As far as trick-taking games go, there are 4 suits in the game: triangles, circles, squares, and squiggles. The squiggles are the Trump suit, always. So it's just 4 suits, and 1 suit is always Trump. And the cards, actually, the artwork on them is kind of neat. It looks like maybe a kid drew it with like colored pencils. I'll hold a couple up to the camera for those of you watching on YouTube. So I like the artwork on the cards. It's kind of like crayon-y or colored pencil, like, and it's also very clean for what it is. Like, the suits are very obvious, and the numbers are very clear to read, even though the fonts are also a little fun. Because that really, sometimes people pick fun fonts and then you can't read the numbers, but that is not the case here. Throughout the course of the game, players will be bidding on the number of tricks that they think they will take in each round. The numbers of the suits go from 1 to 13, fairly standard as well. But the difference in this game compared to most trick-taking games is you're not just bidding on the number of tricks you think you're going to take. You actually have to bid on the number of tricks every single player is going to take. And the way you do that is once the cards are dealt out, you look at your hand of cards and then you pass them first to your right, and then in the second round to your left. You'll eventually play 4 rounds, so you'll go back and forth 2 times each direction. You'll pass your cards to the player next to you, and then you'll look at their hand, their whole hand of cards, and you will write down on your little sheet how many tricks you think that hand of cards is going to take. And then everybody passes again, and you look at the next hand of cards, and you're like, okay, how many tricks do I think this hand is going to take? And then you pass again. And so by the time everything comes back around, you have seen every single player's hand in its entirety. Admittedly, at this point, all players will then pass 2 cards in the opposite direction of how the cards were getting passed before. So things can change there, and that becomes very important. But you've now seen everybody's hand. You know where all the cards in the game are. There's no cards left out. All knowledge is yours at that point until the 2 cards get passed. And when you predict the number of tricks, you have to predict for everybody, including yourself, and it has to total 13 exactly.
Wait, are the predictions like public too, or are those secret?
Those are secret. We didn't really make a big effort of hiding them from each other, but
you don't like shout them out.
No, you don't shout them out. You're just writing them down. But again, they do have to total up to 13. So you are, you're looking at your hand first. You're like, okay, I think I know what this can do, maybe. But you wait, you use yours as the last bid, basically to fill in whatever is left. Then you pass 2 cards, and then you just play a normal round of trick-taking, where you must follow suit, and you cannot play Trump until it has been broken, and like a very standard trick-taking game. And throughout the course of the game, you're looking at the person across from you, and you're like, okay, no more. You don't take any more tricks. Or you're cheering on your friend. Like when I was playing this with Paula, who is a good friend of the show, Paula Deming, shout out. I was like, Paula, you gotta take some more tricks. Come on. So you're like weirdly invested in every single thing that's happening at the table in a way that you're normally not in a trick-taking game. You're concerned with what everybody's doing. And that ends up, if you're with a vivacious group of friends, that ends up being a lot of chatter. Because one person's like, take one more trick, friend, and the other person's like, don't take any more tricks.
I could see someone also like having a high hand and then bidding low for themselves and then like purposely playing badly.
That's the thing. So I think like this game at its mechanical core is relatively simple, but the strategic nuance comes out in both which 2 cards you pass. Because like if you have a hand that has like a whole bunch of trump cards in it, including 2 really high trump cards, but then those are the 2 cards that you end up passing, it dramatically changes what you will end up doing with that hand. And once you know someone has done that in a previous round, and then they get a similar hand dealt to them later, it's like, okay, are they going to do the same thing again? Or are they going to do something different because we know what they did before? So having all of that knowledge doesn't break the game in ways that I thought it might. And the way scoring works is at the end of the round, you get points based on where the players are and how early in the round you saw their cards. So the very first hand of cards that you looked at was the one that you had the least amount of information for, essentially, because you hadn't seen half of the deck yet. So if you get that prediction right, you get 3 points. If you get the next hand correct, you get 2 points. If you get the last hand you saw correct, that's 1 point. And if you get your own bid correct, you get points equal to the other players who did not get their own bid correct. So that can vary wildly. If you get your own bid correct and everyone else misses it, that's 3 points right there. And again, it's only 4 rounds. And then, yeah, you total up the scores and whoever has the most points wins. I freaking had a blast with this. I fell in love with it instantly. And then I ordered 2 copies from the publisher, Odd Candy Games. Yeah, well, because I wanted to give one to my friend, Greg. Shout out to Greg, because he loves trick-taking games. I thought he wouldn't own it, but he actually did, but he owned an earlier prototype copy of it that he got like at a game market thing, so he didn't have this version of it. It is so fun and yet so simple. Comes in a small box. Just a little tuck box. And you can order it directly from the publisher's website, oddcandygames.com. And they are super nice. They actually sent me a copy of one of their other games that I did not order when I got my 2 copies of Numberwang, which I thought was really sweet of them. And it's another trick-taking game, so that's always great. But yeah, I really, really, really like this game. I did not give the detailed information about it earlier, so I do want to say it was designed by Cardner Babakidis with art by Alex Babakidis. So obviously those two are related in some fashion. I love it. If you're a fan of Trick Takers, this is a fun one. It's small, and I think it's an easy add to any collection of trick-taking games.
Yeah, it seems like it would be interesting for people who are familiar with trick-taking. Although it might be like a little overwhelming for someone who's new to trick-taking with all the...
I think, yeah, although it could be one of those things where being new to trick-taking might be an advantage because if you know too much, you're like, okay, that hand's going to win this many tricks, and sometimes you just things are going to go sideways. But yeah, it's Numberwang. It's great. That's Numberwang. Well, Ambie, we didn't have any announcements at the top of the episode for upcoming news in our board game lives, but I suppose I have an announcement for my personal life in that when this episode comes out, I am about to get married.
Yay! Congratulations!
Thank you! So yeah, I am very excited to marry my partner, Dan, and I thought in honor of my upcoming nuptials that we could talk about board games that involve love and romance or relationships in some fashion. I think we've touched on these topics kind of ancillarily before, but I don't think we've ever dedicated a whole episode to it. So we've definitely done 2-player games in those types of things, or maybe couples games, but...
I don't think I play that many games that have love as a theme. I can't think of that many games that have love as a theme. Like, the ones that stand out are like Fog of Love and Then We Held Hands, which were both, I think they both came out in like the same year and were both like about relationships, or I played them both in the same year, at least at a BGG con. I tried them both. But like Fog of Love is kind of role-playing-ish. It has like different scenarios and I forget exactly, but it was kind of like role-playing different like question cards and like choosing A or B or something. But I feel like role-playing games tend to have more relationships and stuff in them because
the opportunity for emotion, I think, to your point, is kind of often more prevalent in an RPG than in a board game. So yeah, I think there's a reason why you don't see these themes super commonly. But I will say it does feel like the few games that kind of have come out that really center on these themes seem to have done it well, or at least have been well received. Fog of Love, obviously, very popular. And Then We Held Hands is also a really great abstract game. Even though it is abstract and doesn't really have any theme in the game itself, it's about the communication between the 2 players. And it like the feeling of playing it is something very unique that's hard to describe. And I really enjoy it when I've played it. I do still own it, but I haven't played it in a long time.
I played it once, but I didn't like it that much.
I do think you have to play it with the right person, and it like you have to. It's one of those situational type things too. But love is something that is hard to capture. I think when we've talked about in the past other strong emotions, you know, even excitement or horror, like scared feelings, like those types of things, harder to capture in board games than in other mediums because you don't have the added elements of sound and I guess, honestly, sound and different and like moving visuals can be very like powerful as well. So I think it's a topic that many board game designers have probably shied away from. And also, there can be a level of awkwardness in playing a game about love with either your platonic friends or complete strangers.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you would only really play it with your partner. So that kind of narrows the audience for it.
Yeah. Although, for me personally, I actually, when I played Fog of Love, I told my ex-husband now, my then husband, I said, I don't ever want to play this game with you because I didn't want... Like, we already had a relationship. I didn't want to simulate a different relationship with that same person. But me and my friend Elissa had lots of fun playing Fog of Love together and simulating a relationship that we would never actually have. And there is a button shy game. This one's more RPG, but there's a button shy game called... I think This Is It, I think is the name of it. Something like that. And you're role-playing the end of a relationship. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but we were going to play this and we got it out and I looked at what the game entailed and it was me and my current partner, my future husband, and I said, no. Like, it scared me. The idea of role-playing the end of a relationship with the person that I currently love. I'm sure some people can make that, like, disconnect and do it and enjoy it. It terrified me. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm sure the game is great. I can't. It's not. No.
Yeah, I guess for those ones, like for role-playing, you might want to do it with just someone else. So not with your partner. But then, like, I think, and then we held hands. Is that more of a one with your partner type thing, or?
I would say so. It's nice to have a really strong connection with the person you're playing with, because you kind of want to know, like, what they're going to do and what they might want to do, because you can't really communicate with each other during the course of the game, but you are trying to communicate with each other without communicating, basically.
Yeah. And there are some games that get, like, the idea of maybe not love, but some other parts of relationships, like Décorum. Is the
passive aggressive roommates.
Game. Yeah. So that gets the passive aggressive feeling, like people who are living together in a relationship, sometimes in a relationship, and like trying to figure out the decorations of the room. So like that's not necessarily love.
Moving this red lamp out of this room. I'm not telling you why.
So you could get kind of that feeling like, but yeah, I really do want to make sure they're happy, and so we can compromise.
Yes. And then, of course, you've got kind of games on the sillier end of the spectrum, like the older game Heartthrob and the more modern game Dream Crush, where you are giving silly attributes to potential date candidates and deciding who you ultimately want to go on a date with. And those games are still some of my favorites. I also, when I was a kid, played Dream Phone, which was a game where you're trying to figure out which boy has a crush on you, and there's a plastic phone, and you can call, like, the other characters in the game and get, like, hints and gossip from them. And so they'll be like, he doesn't like hanging out at the mall. And so then you'll look at your sheet, and anybody who likes hanging out at the mall, you know they don't have a crush on you. It's quite silly, but fun for kids, at least. It was for me.
Wow. I didn't realize that was a deduction game.
It is! Yeah, Dream Crush. Because some of the information you get secretly. You hold the phone all the way up to your ear, and it's told just to you. And then sometimes the other players will play a card on you where you have to share a secret, and so then you have to, like, leave the phone kind of on speakerphone so more people can hear it. Like, they get to hear the clue too. Because technically the same boy has a crush on everybody. It's not like you each have your own individual crushes, which if as an adult starting to think about that, it gets a little weird. But yeah, you're trying to figure out who that one boy is. Then sometimes when you call, they're like, I know who it is, but I'm not telling. And that's all they'll say when you call. It's like, what a jerk. Classic boy move. So relationship games can run the spectrum from the more serious stuff like Fog of Love, which is more of a relationship simulator, to, you know, this silly stuff where it's kind of like about dating or unique traits of people that you might date, for instance. Then there's a whole category of board games that I would say you and I probably pass by if we ever see them in a store, where it's like they're specifically made for couples. couples, married couples or dating couples, and these don't necessarily have to be adult themed games, but they can be in some instances. But like, they're games for couples to play. Yeah, and I have a surprise for you, Ambie, because my mother, God bless her, she bought Dan and I the couples game. As a wedding
that's
present.
actually fun. It says what?
It says on the box, the couples game that's actually fun. And let's see, who publishes this? DSS Games. I've never heard of them. I don't think they listen to the podcast, but DSS Games, if you are listening, if you have to put that the game is fun on the box, that's usually a bad sign. Don't do that. But, Ambie, you and I have been podcasting together. We've known each other now for over 10 years. So we are basically a couple in a lot of respects. So you and I are going to play just a few rounds of the couples game. It's basically a ripoff of the Newlywed Game, where you just have a question, both people answer it, and you see if your answers match. The rule book is this tiny little thing. It doesn't have a win condition. It literally says, write down your answers, now flip the boards over and compare answers. That's all it says. Doesn't tell you what to do after that. This is a cash grab, but that doesn't mean that the cards aren't fun. So, here we go, Ambie.
All right.
I think some of these will be easy and some of these might be a little bit more difficult. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I did 2 matches, 1 me or you, and then 2 bests, which are different card categories. So we'll do a match first. Okay, what song gets us super amped up and ready to party? I'm writing mine down.
I have no idea. Okay, I'm just gonna put this.
Yes, you do. You know what our song is.
I'm gonna put this because, but...
You know what our song is, Ambie? Come on. All right, ready? And reveal. Ballroom Blitz! Yeah, it is. See, I knew you knew our song. And there's a lot of songs that we've sung together. Yeah, this is our song. We're a couple now. Okay, here's an easy one. It's a me or you question. So it'll either write Ambie or Crystal.
Oh, Ambie or Crystal. Okay.
Yeah. Who has a better memory? I saw this one and I was like, oh, that's easy.
Well, it depends on...
No, it does not. No, it's you know. All right. Ready? Reveal. It's you.
Put Ambie. Okay.
Yeah, it's Ambie.
But sometimes I forget easily. A lot of things.
No, but without you, I would forget all things, I feel. Like, you help me remember so many things. So, okay. Here, we will not match on this one. This is just a fun one. In one word, what was your first impression of me? And so I'll do the same for you.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll say like when we met, maybe.
Like we met in person? Okay.
Yeah.
I still don't remember. So who has the better memory now, huh?
Oh.
Because like when we met, it was kind of like an awkward meeting.
It was awkward. Yeah, we had brunch at a fancy brunch place here in Vegas, and we did not know each other barely at all. And I cannot believe that was 10 years ago. That's so wild.
I don't know.
All right. Well, for you, I put down shy.
I put happy.
You were. Aww. I'd say that's a pretty good description of me most of the time. I think I was probably trying to be at least a little more chill than usual. When I meet new people, I try and tone down the Crystal a little bit because I'm a lot. But okay, we'll do what's something embarrassing we do in private that we would never do in public.
That we do that
you and I do in private that we would never do in public.
What do we do in private?
I have a funny answer for this. I don't know if you'll match me. But
I'm trying to think of what we do in private. Like, most of the time we're recording.
I thought of something funny for this. I had an advantage because I saw all of these cards before we recorded, so it's not your fault. You know, it's okay if you don't.
Okay, I just have nothing.
And I said the embarrassing thing that we do in private that we would never do in public is clap simultaneously.
But we would do that in public.
I mean, well, look at us funny.
Maybe.
Like, why are these women trying to clap in synchronicity?
I was thinking of putting clapping actually.
Did you really?
But we record that part too for the Ko-fi people, so it's like semi-public.
Yeah, well, the Ko-fi people isn't public, I feel. That's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess technically
they're part of our
is,
private.
But yeah, they're part of our private stuff. Yeah, support us on Ko-fi if you want to hear all the private things we do, like clap at the same time.
Although we don't do that. We don't do that.
We haven't been clapping lately, I know.
know.
We clapped for years, but all right. This last one is a fun one. It won't be a match. It's just going to be a fun one. And I don't even know what I'm going to write for this yet. But if we were a band, what would our band name be?
I am so bad at coming up with names.
I should have come up with something before now, but I didn't. Let's see. Okay, I came up with something cute, but I don't think it's that funny.
Maybe I shouldn't do that one.
Well, now I think you should, whatever it is.
I don't know. Okay. All right.
All right. What'd you got?
Bad Blitzes.
Bad Blitzes. Ooh, I like it. Is it like kind of like a naughty word, but it's Blitzes instead? OMG, I love it.
That, but...
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Two. No, wait. You have to add a 2 in front of it. Two bad blitzes.
Oh, 2 bad blitzes.
Yeah, 2 bad blitzes. And now
the number 2.
That is so much.
The number 2.
Yes. Oh, of course. It has to be the number 2, or the Roman numeral 2. It has to be the most ridiculous version of 2 possible. Okay. Well, mine is way less good than yours. I just put Blitz Bops, but Bops has a Z at the end.
Well, that would be the album name.
Oh yeah. Okay. So two bad blitzes.
Blitz Bops.
Blitz Bops.
Blitzes.
Album coming 2026, filled with parodies of all of your board game favorites. So yeah, needless to say, the couples game and all of these types of games, I think these are pretty hit or miss generally, but I also do recognize that they can be a fun way to bond with your partner or your podcast host buddy. So,
yeah.
So thanks, Mom, for getting me the couples game. I don't know if you listen to the podcast, Mom, but if you do, thank you.
And that's it for this week's Board Game Blitz. Visit our website, boardgameblitz.com, for more content and links. This episode was sponsored by Grey Fox Games. Your chance to be the bullet hell has arrived. Head to Kickstarter between now and November 21st to secure your copy of Vampire Survivors the board game, designed by renowned designer Emerson Matsuuchi. And if you're planning on doing some early holiday shopping, don't forget, Blitzketeers get 10% off all purchases, including exclusives, at greyfoxgames.com when you use the code BLITZ10 at checkout. Join the Blitzketeer community on Discord for game nights, discussions, and more by following the link in the show notes. Support the show by leaving us a rating and review on your podcast provider. And if you like us a lot and want to support us monetarily and get some cool perks, check out our Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/boardgameblitz today. Our theme song was composed by Andrew Morrow. Until next time, gonna play a board game and we're gonna get married. Bye, everyone!
Bye! Hello, and welcome to episode 248. Is that right? Oh my gosh, we're like 2 away from 250. Yeah, that's good. Yes, that's correct. That's just like, holy moly. That's crazy. Okay. Are harder to capture in board games than they are in other mediums. Sterling, can I help you, sir? You just gonna keep barking down there? Thank you for barking. You're very cute.